Hello, this is my video for Psych 435, Forensic Psychology with Dr. Gray. This is my first case brief, and it is on Pate versus Robinson, the Supreme Court case. In 1959, Theodore Robinson was charged with murder of his common-law wife, Flossie Mae Ward, and was convicted of these charges. The issue surrounding this case was the fact that Theodore Robinson had a long history of mental disorders, and his defense and his attorneys appealed to the court that he was incompetent to stand trial and insane both at the time of the crime as well as during the trial, and therefore could not be tried as a competent individual. Prior events had already occurred that would lead the court to believe that Robinson was suffering severely with several mental issues. Years before, he had actually killed his 18-month-old son and then attempted multiple times to commit suicide unsuccessfully. And he went to prison for 4 years for that. And then he eventually was released, and he was now with Flossie Mae Ward, and then he killed her at her place of work in front of many witnesses. There were 4 testimonies in the case of witnesses that he was obviously extremely unstable, and many witnesses also claimed the fact that Robinson had a long history of episodes where he was delusional and completely irrational, and it appeared that he was having one of those episodes during the time of Miss Ward's murder. The court denied him a hearing for incompetence, and his defense appealed that because they thought that he should have at least the right to have a hearing to decide and be analyzed by professionals to see if he was actually competent at the time of the crime, and then as well as at the time of the trial. This was appealed up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled in favor with the defense that it was a violation of Robinson's rights, that he should have been granted a hearing at least, if nothing else, and was incompetent and insane at the time of the crime and at the time of the trial. So it was a violation overall of Robinson's rights, and he wasn't granted due protection in his trial. So this was a really big impact on competency and criminal insanity for forensic psychology, and it proved that if nothing else, if a hearing for incompetency is requested, or there is so much evidence pertaining to the fact that the individual could be criminally insane or incompetent, the least that the court can do is have a professional forensic psychologist examine at least 2 examine the defendant and then present their opinion, because the court doesn't have to rule with the opinion of the forensic psychologist, but the hearing should at least be in place. And in addition to the fact that so many witnesses corroborated each other's stories, with the fact that Robinson was so mentally challenged. So this was a landmark case and set a precedent for how to deal with insanity pleas and with competency pleas in the future, and showed the court to not make assumptions and to, I would say, not try and play God and know everything about an individual without consulting professionals.